Welcome to the MODUS Super Series, where tonight the defending champion Luke Littler continues his quest to become the first man to win 2 titles here at the Super Series. He's in a stellar lineup tonight, littered with experience and littered with some of the best players internationally. This is what we've got in store for you this evening. Luke Littler, the defending champion, averaged just under 118 to lift the Week 8 title against Andy Bartons. As for Neil Duff, after so many post hits, he managed to finally get over the line and qualify for Champions Week, winning Week 3 and beating Bradley Roos in the process. As for Steve West, well, he made it back-to-back Champions Week appearances in Week 5. He qualified for Group B from Group A. As for Colin Osborne, it's a second appearance here at Champions Week, making it in Series 2. He beat Christian Kitt in the last leg decider to do so in Series 4. Well, it's going to be quick fire when Danny Lauby's at the board. The Week 1 winner is going to take Champions Week by storm. And so the battle for Champions Week supremacy continues, and we're going to be watching it in the company of Mace the Ace himself, Chris Mason. And you know what? We've been looking forward to this group ever since we found out the 5 identities in it. Yes, it's a fascinating lineup. We got the experience of Colin Osborne and Neil Duff, and the youth of Luke Littler and Danny Lauby. Well, that's the action this evening. We'll talk about that in just a second. But this afternoon, we saw the beginning of Group C. And what an enthralling afternoon worth of action we saw. Drama at every single twist and turn. And it was Reece Robinson who topped the group, having won each of his first 4 matches, his first 2 without dropping a leg. Yes, he was outstanding early on, and that's something we've learnt from him so far this week. Out of the blocks really, really quickly. His 4 opening matches on each days. We had a 105, a 104, a 102, and a 95-75 today. And he was well worth that lead there, but surprise package has to be Patrick. We did suggest that Berry will benefit from that sort of reset mentality and going again from nil point, and he produced the goods. The big shock probably is Jelle Klassen. So Jelle Klassen there on 2 points. Just going back to Patrick, he had far from the ideal preparation. He actually slept in the airport last night after his flight was cancelled. Only arrived in Portsmouth 3 hours before play got underway, let alone get into the venue itself. The fact he's coming out 4 from 5, true testament to him. Yeah, I think sometimes, bizarrely, it can work in your favour because you're so tired, you're not really conscious of everything that's going on, and you almost go into autopilot. And for individual sportsmen, it can sometimes work in their favour, and it certainly did today. And he will be buoyed going in tomorrow, and he'll fancy getting the job done tomorrow and being the surprise package. Indeed. So the action there continues 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on the Super Series YouTube channel for joining viewers on Sporty Stuff TV from free. But tonight's focus is all about Group B, and you just get the sense we've got a little bit of everything here. We've got the exuberance of youth, we've got quick-paced players, and we've got some real experienced campaigners as well. Yeah, Steve West will feel like he maybe have been a little bit unlucky not to come out of Group A, but he showed signs of being in great form. As always, lots and lots of 180s, and he's going to be a big threat tonight. But the favourite at 4 to 5, even though he came through a few sticky moments in Group A, is Luke Littler. Well, this is the betting. Luke Littler going off the 4 to 5 favourite. Is there any value for you in and amongst that outright betting? Potentially, all of them. Danny Lauby surprises me at 10 to 1 because this sort of format suits him perfectly. It's a race to 4, best of 7, and he's a streak type player, so he can muster up 3 or 4 great legs together. Whether he's going to be consistent enough, that will maybe his undoing. But I think Luke Littler, I picked him to win the week on Monday. Thought he'd win Group A, didn't. That belonged to Miok, of course. But yeah, I think 4 to 5 for the short price punters will enjoy that, and he will have a different mentality. He seemed to be in a bit of a cruise control in Group A. He didn't look particularly flustered. Almost to the attitude, no matter what happens, when I got to turn it on, I will. And in spells, he really did turn it on with the highest average of the week so far of 113 plus. As for Colin Osborne, second appearance at Champions Week for him. How much could the experience of last time help him out here? Yeah, it didn't particularly go his way last time, and
he's so used to the format now, and I think with Colin, it's which version of Colin we get. If we get that determined, resilient, almost pitbull-like player, he's going to be tough to beat.
And interestingly, Neil Duff is the reigning WDF World Champion. And it feels like we haven't really spoken about him yet this week.
Yeah, well, he came so close to winning a week so many times, didn't he? Made finals nights on a few occasions, eventually got over the line last time out. Lots of experience, as we know, is the current world champion. They'll know that. The players will know who they're playing. And it's obviously always going to be a big sculpt beating a reigning world champion. He's going to have to make a quick start. I think this Group B is key, how you get out of the blocks. I think 2 wins tonight and 2 wins tomorrow night, 8 points may be enough in this group, but it's easier said than done.
And one thing we've seen from Steve West this week, aside from the brilliant darts, has been that real fire in the belly. He even came up here on the balcony and said, look, you can have these conversations about the best player in the world, but without a tour card, but I want to be put in it. I've been here a couple of times now. Yeah,
I think if he was playing the Challenge Tour and we could put his numbers against all the other players we talk about who are in that Challenge Tour, including Barry Van Peer, of course, then he'd be in the conversation. Outside of that, without doubt, and he's proven it time and time again that he's a player, I think, that once this operation's out the way and he has probably another season next year, continuing playing a bit of ADC, playing a lot of Super Series, he'll be ready to get his tour card back because we don't want him in the seniors.
Mace definitely doesn't want him in the seniors. Right, let's have a look at the bet builder for this evening. And this is an amalgamation of different bets which make their way through the exchanges, and we put them in a little acca for you. It's a 5-to-1 treble this evening, and it begins right from the get-go with Luke Littler being the match winner against Colin Osborne. Yeah,
I think what we've seen today as well with the new players coming in, we thought it was going to be tough for them because after having 3 days up on there, you're right up to speed, and Littler will have that advantage over Colin Osborne. Does tend to get out of the blocks quite quickly, so I think that's relatively a safe bet. Duff against West. West most 1A, as we know, he hits a ton of those. And then Osborne against Duff. Match winner Duff 5-4. Now, I think that price is a little bit too big. When you look at their stats going into this, there's very little to separate them. So I think the reason the punters have backed that is because it represents value.
So if you are going to have a flutter, 18+, begambleaware.org. But first up for us, Colin Osborne in action up against Luke Littler. Now, Osborne, well, there's no one apart from Martin Adams who's more versed in this competition. But Luke Littler, defending champion. And look, as the week goes on, the more we're going to talk about it and the more he's going to have to get used to that pressure building. Yeah,
although there's expectations because of his ability and what he's shown us already. You know, he's got the highest ever winning average to win a week here, that incredible 117 average. And Colin's going to have to start strong and he's going to have to score heavily just to try and contain Littler. Again, it's one of those, you know, you can easily talk about it, but doing it is another thing, and he is going to have to hit that stage running.
It's going to be a good night of darts, isn't it?
It's going to be fabulous.
Well, we are very much looking forward to this. Chris Mason's going to make his way down to the commentary box to describe all of the action in the company of the asset Paul Nicholson, beginning with game one, which is Colin Osborne against Luke Littler.
Let's do it then, guys. A very good evening to everybody tuning in. And thank you for your company here on Thursday night. We will go into Friday morning with our 10 games for your darting entertainment over the next few hours. But this is the most experienced dart player in MODUS Super Series history. He's played more games than anybody else, and he's got an unbelievable CV here in Portsmouth and in our previous studio. But the man of the moment, Luke Littler, he's not in Saturday night yet. He's going to have to be in the top 3 over the next couple of nights to find his way into the championship night once again to try and get his name on that trophy for a second time in a row. He's now involved in what
first gets Colin to throw first. Game
is
on.
The most exciting group of the week because of the names in it and the likelihood of explosiveness. Like my co-commentator said on the balcony just now,
26.
Osborne is going to have to hit the ground running. If he doesn't, Littler could run over him in as little as 7 or 8 minutes. This is with me now, so let's crack on with the night. 10 games. Should be fun.
Evening, Paul. Evening, everybody. Sit tight. This is going to be
55.
And furious. There's not going to be a car in sight.
over the course of the last 3 days, we've seen
95.
some very good A-grade stuff from Luke. We've seen some pretty good B-grade stuff as well. But ultimately, he played pretty well just to get into this group, didn't he?
70.
Yes, and he had to draw on all of his ability late on in that group just to ensure that he entered this Group B. And remember, if you're joining us for the first time or you are a regular viewer, it's 3 from 5 go through in this group. So a 60% chance of getting through. And for Luke,
95.
this was massive because that Group C, although maybe mathematically slightly easier in this one, well, proof's in the pudding tomorrow. We'll have a look at the running average
76.
from Group C tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see the running average from this group tomorrow night. But he's almost sort of just been in cruise control for me. I don't think he's
95. Luke
really
required
stretched his legs. I
131.
think he's playing with such confidence that it's almost like a switch that he can just
51.
flick and then go through
Colin,
the
you
gears.
require 160.
Considering the 2 performances that he's had to win weeks, I think that proves your point. Osborne has got 120. Does he have 40 more?
120. Luke
That was
require
close.
80.
Here comes the flatty. There you go. Another one. And now that leaves the top bed open.
60. Colin, you require 40.
Still getting used to seeing that. New school darts at its best. Osborne loves tops.
Is it going to be old school taking the lead?
20. Luke, you require
Could be costly,
20.
even at this early stages, Nico.
Words
Game
out of
shot
my
on the
mouth
first leg.
because you're not going to get
Luke
many
Littler.
bites of the cherry against Luke the Nuke Littler. Well, let us compare then
Second leg, it's
based
Luke
on what
to
you
throw
just said,
first. Game on.
the weekly average of Littler in Group A compared to everybody from Group C today.
134.
That'll give us an indication of how competitive maybe he would have been today. So, 94.87 for the week, Littler. That's incredibly strong. Best performance of 113.77. Everybody's talking about that game.
24.
That average is better than the best averaging player in Group C by over 2 points. Almost 2.5, in fact. So if he'd played earlier today,
59.
the likelihood is he probably would have done pretty well. But then again, we've got 3 players on 8 points in that group, so good luck to those guys
99.
tomorrow. There's only 2 spots up for grabs.
Yeah, and that's the risk of playing in Group C. It's just 2 from 6.
60.
So if you don't win the group, ultimately you need to be in Group B. First, Max.
180.
Never in doubt, Nico.
Now that's his 25th of the week. Still 5 behind Steve West, though. Just proving your point about
60.
the 180s
Luke
from
requires
Steve.
64.
And we'll see more of him in match 2. Double top. He will spend a
44.
lot of time on double 10 over the next couple of nights, at least.
Yeah, if you didn't join us in Group A, you actually wanted 36 in one match. Ultimately, in my opinion, it cost
30.
him the game.
Luke required
He
20.
went 16 double 10.
Doesn't need the 16 here. But does need double 5.
15.
He's left scratching his noggin. Well, Osborne has almost been left in the traps here.
140.
Just wonder
Luke
what would have
required
happened
5.
if he'd hit that 160 checkout.
Yeah, the change
Game
in
shot on the
mindset.
second leg. Lou Littler.
Luke Littler holds with very little drama, apart from missing a few doubles.
Third leg, it's Colin to throw first.
Particularly
Game on.
enamoured with his performance, but yeah, he's actually a very, very level-headed young man who knows the importance of just getting points on the board.
95.
He is, of course, not lost a week in its entirety
57.
that he's played in. He is 3 from 3, including Series 3 Champions Week winner. Didn't he do it, Nico, in some style?
Didn't he just?
125.
We've all seen some amazing young talents coming through over the years, but he is firmly at the head of the sub-20-year-olds in the world right now.
Yeah, he's without doubt the most exciting player. Him and, well, I first seen Michael van Gerwen play when he was 15. In fact, I played him in a big tournament in Holland in a final when he was 15. And he was staggeringly good.
99.
I just wonder, I was having a chat with Barzi today. There will be a video coming out at some point over the next week or so. And I just wonder if I'd just maybe hold him back for a year.
60.
From the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Because his position in the Development Tour Order of Merit at the minute would
91.
warrant
Colin,
a
you
two-year
require
tour card,
126.
taking him away from here and away from some other tours as well. It would mean he'd go up against the elite.
Every weekend.
98. Luke, you require 126.
All 19s and ball. A bit awkward.
I think this is important
86.
for Colin to get a
you
good leg
require
under his belt.
Will be the best leg of the match if he converts it in this visit,
shot
and he
the
does.
third leg.
16 dart.
Colin Osborne.
Hold of throw. Yeah, I just wonder if what is there any rush to
Fourth
throw him
leg, it's
into
Luke to throw
shark-infested
first. Game
waters?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of impatience in the world.
Yep. I think people want everything they want.
129.
They want it yesterday, don't they? And listen, he has the right people around him, that's for sure. And now, well, ultimately, I suppose it's his decision. I mean, it's not a slight either, by the way, on his
85.
on his ability. It's more just allow him to grow that little bit more.
Well, you make a good point there, Mace, because
95.
is it his decision? He's 16. He's actually just a boy. So management, parents,
137.
friends, family, they all have a say.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to become the biggest decision of his career to date, no matter what happens over the next few months. But we'll get to that. And I'm sure they will come to the right one. But let's have a little laugh, shall we? Do you remember when Colin made the UK Open final in 2009?
140.
He was one of the best players in the world that year. He was amazing. Luke was 2.
127.
On it, doesn't it?
Colin, you require
Yeah, Luke was born
139.
in January of 2007. Couldn't even say that with a straight face.
That was the
99.
first year of
Luke,
the
you require
Grand Slam, wasn't it?
54.
Indeed it was. Double top.
Game shot on the fourth leg.
Luke Littler
Luke
is as old
Littler.
as the Grand Slam. Well, that puts everything into perspective.
Fifth leg, it's Colin to throw
Notice
first.
something else tonight.
Game on.
I don't think my eyes are deceiving me. But he's made quite a lot of money for a young lad. And I think these shoes he's wearing tonight are a different colour to the fancy ones he wore this week.
140.
I think they're a gold version, unless the lights have changed a little bit.
Oh, I think he can afford them in
85.
whichever. I think you're right, Nico. I think the other ones were chrome.
Yeah.
They are nice.
You go into a fancy shoe shop and you say, oh, I like those. If you've got them in a different colour, I'll have them both. What a lovely thing to be able to say.
60.
It's all Nathan Aspinall's fault. He's the one who started wearing those. Next thing you know, Chris Dobie's wearing them. Oh, he is.
56.
And now Littler's got them on. I remember when Colin was sponsored by a bed company, you know.
85.
It was him and Colin Lloyd and Andy Hamilton were all sponsored by a bed company. We all thought, oh, there we go. The big sponsors are coming into darts now. Bed companies.
100.
Maybe that's why he's got stars on his shirt. But he's always had that design as Colin.
45.
Got lots of different colours. Red, lovely shade of light blue, bit of purple.
Big
56.
football fan as well, isn't he?
UTB.
Yep. The Borough.
Not really sure what they're going to do this season. Too
95.
busy following the Magpies. Oh, Littler is from Warrington. He's probably into his rugby league.
84. Colin, you require 76.
He does have a rugby league badge on his shirt. I think it's Warrington Wolves, is it? At least he did on his other shirt.
We'll have to ask our pal Mark Wilson.
36. Luke, you require
Well,
120.
Is Colin going to force Luke to... Oh, dear, oh, dear.
45.
He's been watching Reece Robinson, hasn't he?
Yep.
Colin, you require 40.
Or Jose.
They get a second leg. Gonna have to go to the left of that one. Down to the right-hand side of the board.
20.
The doubles haven't really responded.
Luke, you require
the way
75.
he wanted them to.
1 from 8, Nico. Double 12 to wrap it up. Double 6 right on the wire.
63.
He's now 3 from
Colin,
11.
you require 20.
Double 5. That's a bad dart. As is that one. His patience
No
has
score.
been tested even in
Luke,
this
you
first
require
game.
12.
Both aware of how important it is to make a winning start,
Game,
and it
shot,
is Luke
and the
Littler who
match.
makes a
Luke
winning
Littler.
start with his lowest average of the week. That matters not to him. What matters is getting those 2 points on the board. 75-66 for Osborne. Just the 180 in there to Luke Littler. When we come back, the reigning WDF World Champion Neil Duff takes on Steve West.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. So before the break, Luke Little got his campaign off to the perfect start, a 4-1 victory against Colin Osborne. Next up for us, Neil Duff in action up against Steve West. West qualifying to Group B, courtesy of his exploits in Group A. Neil Duff, the winner of Week 3. Right, let's get into the action then and into the commentary box where Paul Nicholson is alongside Chris Mason.
Thank you, Henry. And just in the break, myself and Nico were having a chat about it. You can almost sense the nerves in that opener. I don't think we'll see it with these two. As you can see, Steve West looks nice and relaxed. If you're a reigning world champion, I don't think you'd have a lot to be nervous about, Nico.
I don't know. Because you mentioned with Henry that he's been the bridesmaid a lot of times here at the Super Series in the last couple of years.
First leg, it's Neil to throw
now
first.
that he's finally got a week under his belt, will he take the shackles off, or will there be extra pressure? Because I think it's very fair to say that we haven't spoken enough about Neil this week. We've been talking about Luke. We've been talking about Westy. We've been talking about other people. And we've got a current world champion in our midst. So we haven't spoken about you, Neil. No offence. But now, show us what you can do.
Well, it was the almost perfect start to his campaign. But I'm with you a little bit. I
54.
think once you've been like that, where you've gone so close so many times and just come up short, the relief must be huge just to get it done.
As for Westy, though,
60.
he has never been a bridesmaid here at the Super Series. Qualification through the last two.
60.
Pace of the game will suit both.
I agree. Very get to the hockey and get on with it kind of stuff.
140.
And I think there's a nice circle here because Neil throws from the left-hand side as they look. It means that when Steve goes back, he's got nothing in his way.
Yep.
It's a nice free playing area.
And there's nothing better than that. And you almost do a loop. You take your dart out. By the time you've walked around, stood in position, you're
50.
almost then walking back into the hockey. It's almost like you're practicing on your own.
That's why I always loved playing against Merv, because he was over on that side as well. I always had lots of room to walk away. Whereas when you played Stephen Bunting, you'd have to do that
41.
awkward shoulder shuffle.
Yeah, that's right.
Get out of the way of the referee.
Yeah,
Stephen's there. Yep, sorry, lad.
He stands to the extreme right. Remember back in the day when they had the old boy there, he used to put the pins in. You had this big
77.
box there. You'd have an absolute nightmare if you were playing bunty. There'd be nowhere to move. Westy's still left himself a bit
95.
to do.
95. Steve, you require
Neil down to
114.
70. So 2 opportunities to find 1 treble to leave a double. Well, he's down to 60. He's got the 14. Tops for a break.
74.
Thickness
Neil, you
of the
require
wire away.
70.
Doesn't get any better than that. When you don't hit it, that was really close.
30.
That was pretty close as well.
Steve, you require 40.
Bit of a rusty start to this first leg. 7 visits.
Well, it's following the theme of
Game
match
shot on the
1,
first leg.
which
Steve West.
was won in 19 darts. That one, just 1 more, a 20 dart.
Second leg, it's Steve
Break a
to throw
throw.
first. Game on.
Something that we've talked about over the last couple of years, in fact. This is a place where codes and worlds collide.
100.
2 years ago, you would never expect to see this fixture.
Only at the slam.
Yeah. Duff against West. Oh, hang on a minute.
180.
Duffman's in the WDF. Westy's in the PDC. And next thing you know, Westy loses his card. Duffman becomes a bit of a staple here at the Super Series.
100.
And you're getting this kind of game. This is good for the game, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You're getting fixtures that you wouldn't normally get.
85.
And players are getting the opportunity to play players they may have never thought they'd encounter.
Indeed.
60.
I never ever believed I'd be stood on a stage playing John Walton and Tony O'Shea again.
Do you know what? I had a good 10 years in the PDC.
60.
When I played here, I played Tony O'Shea. That was a thrill for me.
Yeah.
A real thrill. Played Tony in exhibitions a few times, but to play him in a competitive match,
100.
that was something I won't forget. Even for someone of my experience, I still get a kick out of things like that.
This is a great response.
127. Steve, you require 141.
He did have a shot at this week, did Steve? He missed the double 12 for it. It was for a 9-darter.
57. Neil, you require 49.
A break back. What do you had? A dart at tops. Ooh, nudges the wire.
29.
Oh, that could be costly.
Steve, you require 84.
He's not the kind of player to lose leads this week, Steve West. He's been fighting through 4 threes very, very well, no matter what position he's been in.
Game
and that
shot
is a 2-0 lead for
leg.
Westy.
Steve West.
He's getting fortunate with the amount of shots at doubles he's getting, but he's making the most of them.
Third leg, it's Neil to throw first. Game on.
I first watched Neil at the 2019 World Masters, which was won by our very good friend, John
60.
O'Shea. It's like it's one word. Love it.
Is he the man from Cork, or is he a Cork man?
2 different things, aren't they?
180s are starting to flow.
Neil wore a brilliant Duff man shirt at that tournament and did so
60.
for a period after that. But now it's like they're normal. I'm missing Duff man. Maybe it's a bit of a copyright issue.
140.
Tease.
A copycat. 180, 180. What he did on Monday, game 4 against Reece Robinson.
85.
But more importantly for Steve West, he's controlling the leg in the match right now.
Has Joe Cullen been in touch with Neil Duff, by the way?
72.
To thank him for using his darts because of all the royalties he's getting. Because these are Joe Cullen darts.
Yeah, they got the tiniest little scallop in them.
85. Steve, you require
They're a lovely
109.
dart. I can throw them.
Yeah, I've tested those things. They're rather snazzy.
$48.
Well, I'd give that one a bit of a C minus. And I think Steve would as well. He wanted to leave himself on a 1-darter.
97. Steve, you require 61.
The danger here. Yeah, he went for the 21 for tops. Tops it is.
Game shot on the
Tops he
third
gets.
leg. Steve West.
15 darter this time.
I'll give that one an A+. On combinations
Full
involving
leg, Steve
tops
to
at the
throw
end,
first.
he's been the
Game on.
master this week. But that's what his game's all about. And you look at some of his top performances in his career, it's all about 180s and tops.
And he's had to battle hard this week. He
42.
had a stage where he pretty much played every leg that was possible to play. Nobody played more legs than Steve West in Group A this week.
44.
He's got 31 180s for the week so far. He averaged exactly 2 180s a game throughout Group A. He's got a little bit of catching up to do with our 180 machine of the week, Reece Robinson, who's got 38.
Yeah, well, he was closing in on a daily record, wasn't he?
140.
Fell short by a couple on Tuesday. Reece is in a pretty good position in Group C overnight. I wonder where Steve's going to be by the time that Reece gets back to the hockey.
125.
Made some lovely stuff today, did Reece Robinson. And did Barry Van Peer. And Patrick, of course.
100.
Who was running on empty in terms of sleep.
This could be catastrophic
140.
for Neil Duff. If you are going to be drilled 4-0, I think the best time for it is the first game. At least you've got time to recover.
18s is the shot.
53.
Leaves
Steve
164.
Urquhart, 137.
Trouble 19. Oh, perfect.
97. Neil, you require 164.
You fear for Duffman now. This game could be all over Red Rover.
83. Steve, you
Bad news
require
could
40.
keep coming for Duff because he's got Luke Littler next in his second game. And West on tops. He's 50%. And that remains the case
and the match,
because he's hit
Steve
4
West.
shots from 8 attempts. That's a decent start for Steve. Average of 85.89. He's played much better than that this week. But all he had to do in that game was beat Neil Duff, and he's done so by 4-0. When we come back, blink and you will miss him. Danny Lauby is back, the winner of week 1.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Before the break, West knew best as he got the better of Neil Duff by 4-0 in his opening game of Group B. Colin Osborne returns to action now, and he takes on Danny Lauby from the United States from America. Now, he is being a big primetime audience from America in this evening. 5:30 Eastern Time, the action's getting underway here from, and watching this one from the commentary box in Portsmouth, that is anyway, is Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
We welcome back the man from the borough and the man from Indiana.
Yes, and welcome to our American viewers
First
who will be
leg, it's
watching
Danny to throw first. Game on.
YouTube.
It's always good to have the guys and girls watching in the United States from America.
59.
Not been there yet.
What do you think Osborne will be thinking after his first game against Littler? Because he did play well.
100.
Yeah, he'd be thinking to himself, do not play like that again, Osborne.
You think he will have last named himself?
Yeah.
60.
He'd have been furious with that. But cannot dwell here at the Super Series. This format does not allow you to.
140.
Well, here's the thing about that, because Neil Duff's just lost 4-0. His next game comes after this
93.
against Luke Littler. So dwelling is not an option, like you said, Mace. And Osborne had a similar gap between game 1 and game 3, but now he's up against the week 1 champion
100.
who beat Wesley Harms in the final with his glorious footwear. But Danny is genuinely one of the most
97.
exciting
Colin
players to watch in world darts.
161.
People would crawl over broken glass to watch him play because he's so exciting.
He's just so quick.
65.
Yeah, like that play from Colin, leaving a 2-dart combination. All Danny can do is try and apply a bit of pressure.
65. Colin, you
win one of
require
the
96.
ADC events on Wednesday night, just to keep his eye in. Maybe just
Game
get a
shot
bit
on
of
the
practice,
first
but
leg.
that's
Colin
clinical
Osborne.
from Osborne, a 14-dart breaker throw.
That's a little bit better.
Well, all three of
Second leg, it's
the
Colin
opening
to throw
matches so
first.
far,
Game on.
the person against the darts has broken leg 1 and ultimately gone on to win the match. A good omen maybe for Osborne.
So that win on Tuesday for Danny, is that a
85.
bit of a tune-up?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to explain it. You just
60.
want to sharpen your tools. He has been back to the States, of course, hasn't he? Playing in some of the CDC events. Probably home to see family.
A lot of these
34.
North American dart players are doing a lot of miles. You think about Matt Campbell on tour at the PDC, Jeff Smith, of course, backwards and forwards to
100.
New Brunswick, which doesn't have a direct flight to the UK.
Well, Leonard Gates, he's doing the air miles right now.
Yeah, Alex Spellman the same. There's more people coming over from North America to
123.
apply their trade here and with other tours than ever before because the riches are there. And
57.
£20,000 is a lot of US dollars.
And a lot of TV exposure. Keeps sponsors happy, of course. Raises your own profile.
We were at the World Match Play in the
99.
last couple of weeks, and there were actually a couple of people there from a channel on YouTube called USA Darts, and they're
Colin
actually starting to stream stuff.
160.
And that proves to me that the awareness of steel-tip darts is different
60.
than it was before.
Danny required
Probably because of players
144.
like Danny Lauby.
Well, you look how many years we did the event in Vegas. It never really
60.
got any traction.
Colin, you require
And you look
100.
year 1, year 2 at the US Masters in New York, and, well, the evidence is there for all to see, and so are the viewing figures. Slip.
42. Danny, you require 84.
Lauby needs 84 for an equaliser. Double 11.
Game shot on the second leg.
He's
Danny
quick.
Lauby.
I think that-
So quick.
I think Dart 3 was in the air, whilst Dart 2 was entering the treble.
Third leg, it's Danny to throw first. Game
We've
on.
got state-of-the-art equipment here, and we're still not as quick as Danny Lauby.
We need some AI.
60.
He's a very, very polite young man, is Danny. Not surprised by that. You were telling me earlier he's just a bit
55.
like his old man.
Yeah, very laid back. Very cool. His dad was a
100.
decent player in his own right.
Yeah, both into darts, both into music.
Yep. Both play instruments.
Now, Colin's a bit of a savant when it comes
100.
to different sports. He's a yo-yo champion.
Mustard at table tennis as well.
Yeah, I don't want to play him at that.
91.
I think he can swing a golf bat as well. He could probably take a couple of weeks
43.
off, take up a new sport and be world class at it within 14 days.
Yeah, annoyingly.
$59.
Colin's been around since around 2006 when it comes to high-level darts. Done a bit of travelling with it. He's done the Vegas
79.
trips.
Yep.
He's been to Canada, so he knows what it's all about over there.
Yeah, been on a few away trips with Colin.
58.
Now, 133 for Lauby. It'll be interesting to see where he goes with the first dart.
81. Danny, you
Now
require
that Colin is on a finish
133.
himself. Perfect. And the
93.
layup is
Colin, you
good.
require 143.
Big ask for Osborne.
Yeah, made the quarterfinals of the World Championships back in
55. Danny, you require
2007.
40.
Double 5.
35.
It's a triple split.
Colin, you
Danny
require
Lauby.
88.
And 2 8s, you can see. But it's not double 8 he needs, it's double 14. Ooh, right in the
Game shot
middle
on the third
of that
leg.
60, and then
Colin
right in the corner of
Osborne.
the double 14. He wasn't entirely sure if that one was in. But we have
Fourth leg,
confirmation from
Colin to
Charlie
throw first.
Corstefine that it is
Game
a
on.
2-1 lead to Aussie. There are some evil faces turning on that stage.
45.
Just them trying to self-motivate. Nothing sinister. Lauby averaged just shy of 85 the week he played
180.
roughly 3 months ago to qualify. Long time ago. As for Osborne in week 4, just a shade over 86.
125.
Yeah, he has a 12 monthly running average of just over 88.
100.
We didn't used to have those statistics because now we've got things like ADC events which have connectivity to certain databases.
180.
And because we record everything here as well, we can give people an indication of how they're playing.
100. Colin, you require 151.
And as far as this leg's concerned, both are playing well. Fancied a shot at tops there, didn't he? Not going to get it at this visit.
66. Danny, you require
was like
121.
Checking up in the vast. Oh, hello. Oh,
96.
vast darts databases we have with the older
Colin, you
players.
require
Just to see if our
85.
paths have crossed. And I can remember playing Colin in the Championship League of
45.
Darts
Danny, you require 25.
back in 2008. I thought that
Game
was the
shot
only
on the
time we'd actually
foreplay. Danny
cross
Lauby.
paths as Danny Lauby levels things up at 2-2. Actually played
Fifth
him
leg, it's Danny
as
to
far
throw
back as
first. Game on.
2006 in a UK Open qualifier. And I played him in the World Grand Prix and I completely forgot about
59.
him.
Yeah, I've played Colin at the World Grand Prix. That was my best year. I got to the quarterfinals. Colin
41.
beat James Wade in the first round, and then I played Colin. And then I lost to, yes, you heard that eye roll, Wes Newton.
100.
Oh, he was your Achilles heel, wasn't he?
Oh, he was like porcupine needles in my socks.
$135.
You can't underestimate just how good Osborne has been in his career, though. But I did some digging a little bit earlier,
140.
and I had a little chat with Colin because I wanted to know how many people here this week are searching for the biggest payday of their career, including the
140.
seasoned players like West, Osborne, Duff, Bolton. 7 of
100.
the 12 players are hunting their biggest ever check, but only one in this group is. Does that convince you how strong this group is here in Group B?
20.
Well, he's got a bounce out and a Robin Hood in the same visit.
Danny, you require 102.
Getting the full collection. But unfortunately for him, he's not left himself a finish.
Yeah, Danny Lauby is the only person in this
42.
group who has not won a check of 20,000 or more. Colin confirmed to me that when he won the Championship League of Darts nearly 15 years ago,
133.
He
Danny, you
banked just
require
shy.
60.
26,000 for that tournament.
40.
And he might bank another
Colin, you
break of
require
draw
32.
here in leg 5.
Game
Oh,
shot
this
on the
game
fifth leg.
It's like wrestling
Colin
with
Osborne.
Vaseline all over your body. Nobody can hold.
Sixth leg, it's Colin
has
to
the
throw
opportunity
first. Game on.
with a hold to win the match. And the memories of the disappointing start to this group will be long gone. Oh, that's a flyer.
85.
You can see he's raging with that.
You get the feeling he's working quite hard for this as well.
43.
There's a lot of concentration going into every single dart and every visit. Whereas with some players this week, it's just come really easy.
Yeah, certainly.
100.
Robinson.
And Jerome Meek, who's kicking back tonight, watching,
Chilling.
I'm sure.
58.
Yeah, hope you're enjoying a well-earned couple of days rest. Spoke very well with Henry as well. He's
60.
a very level-headed player. Just takes it all in his stride.
Well, if there's one person over the last 2 weeks who's sick of talking to Henry Deacon, it's Jerome Meek. I think they've done 6 interviews already.
100.
Yeah, because he was our week 12 winner and did it in some style, and he's backed that up so far this week.
41.
Another wild one from Osborne. This time it's getting punished.
140.
Not another break, surely. Sorry, I'll stop calling you Shirley. Well, 45 is needed to get to a finish.
Gotta go ball.
70.
Asking you
Danny
shall
require
receive.
160.
Another? Would have left tops.
140.
He leaves tens,
Colin,
is
you
the double that he
require
hit to win week 1.
145.
He's going to get 3 darts at it as well.
Well, not that having the throw
45.
counts
Danny,
so much,
required
but he will have the
20.
throw in the decider.
Double 4.
18.
Well, a chance for the
Colin, you
solitary hold in the
require
match.
100.
Stay on the 60. That's a lovely lie. He did the right thing, just overpitched it.
60. Danny, you require 2.
Johnny Clayton's favourite double.
Game shot on the 6th leg. Danny Lauby.
Not a word of a lie there. It is break number 6. And Danny Lauby Jr. now throws for the match
7th final leg. It's Danny to throw
in the
first.
knowledge that he's
Game
probably
on.
not the favourite for this leg. Because he's throwing first.
57.
You mentioned Madison Square Garden, Mace. Before
85.
PDC darts was taken there, what for you was the legacy of steel tip darts in the United States?
It probably would have been the North American Open,
140.
which was a very short format, double in, double out, best of 3, or best of 5.
30.
That was probably the longest running and oldest event I can think of over there in terms of steel tip.
100.
And it doesn't run now, does it?
No, well, they used to do the trip where they do Vegas and then Laughlin. So they'd go over for back-to-back tournaments. That tournament in Laughlin dates back
96.
to the 70s, I do believe. Of course, it was in America where Eric Bristow got the
140.
Cockney nickname.
Don't just get good darts here. You get history.
And Bobby George made his early wealth because
100. Danny
how the
requires
players made their money back
64.
then was money racers, and Bobby George played
Game
Nicky
shot
Verashko
and the
for
match.
a small fortune.
Danny
Well, the players
Lauby.
are playing for a small fortune this week, and Danny Lauby, at the first time of asking, gets 2 points on the board. 83-88, the average 82-22, and the disappointment continues. Colin Osborne, when he got a go, he was deadly. 3 from 3, but it's Lauby who takes the 2 points. Well, a youth world champion against a senior world champion as Luke Littler faces Neil Duff in our next match.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Danny Lauby's got out of the gates with a 4-3 victory against Colin Osborne. The Middlesbrough man, 2 defeats from 2 to begin his evening. Right, next up for us, it is Luke Littler up against Neil Duff. Let's take you back to the first week of April 2022. Luke Littler became the youngest ever player to win a World Championship match at the Lakeside, a tournament that Neil Duff would go on to win. Right, let's get into this one. Into the commentary box with Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
A clash of generations, but then again, Luke Littler pretty much is used to playing people older than him. And if he plays people younger than him, it's just not fair. Because he's a bit better than everybody else who's younger than him. Well, most of them.
First leg, it's Luke to throw first. Game on.
But now Neil Duff needs to get on the winning train a little bit earlier than Colin Osborne, because he's lost 2 matches from 2. And we haven't seen the best of Littler tonight. But he will start this game
94.
as favourite, marginally for me, because of what we've seen this week and sample size of what we've seen from Duff.
Yeah, well, the book is
55.
before the off made Luke a 4-11 favourite. Neil Duff 2-1.
That's surprising for me. I didn't think it would be that much.
180.
But we have seen at times that Littler needs a settler to get into a campaign.
140.
He's got that now. And if he's ready to turn the boosters on, he could do anything.
As we've seen, he's had some
45.
absolutely towering averages here at the Super Series.
For quite some time,
96.
the venue record here was 115.62, held by 2 players, Cam Crabtree and Conor Heenahan. That was completely
162.
obliterated by Littler earlier in this phase. A series that has yielded an awful lot of records.
78.
Well,
Luke required 20.
Lovely 162 has left his favoured double 10. Ooh. Have another go, pal. There you
Game
go.
shot on the first leg.
14 dart
Luke
hold.
Littler.
Eventually, we have a player that holds throw in leg 1.
Well, he has given us a 14 darter
Second
there.
leg, it's
That
Neil
didn't
to
look
throw
comfortable
first.
to me.
Game on.
I don't think there was a great deal of rhythm in that leg. He's just flowing with natural talent at the minute. Just imagine when everything
100.
is really comfortable. And is that why he tends to put in his best performance by the end of the week?
Yeah, quite possibly.
81.
Like all players, we've seen it with players today where the timing's just off. That was certainly the case with Rene this afternoon in Group C.
100.
You said that Rene was a little bit out of his depth today. Well, the statistics from the whole group do tell a bit of a story. He's more than 7 points behind in average to the next worst person.
Yeah, it felt like that.
140.
But credit to him. He won his week. He earned his right to be here. But he, well, he's
134. Neil, you require
Group C.
161.
I haven't seen anything like that before.
No. Only barely mathematically possible.
99. Luke, you require
Seen
152.
one of these today. Are we going to see another? Ooh, bouncer.
80.
I think that might
Neil,
have
you
come off his own
require
flight, you know.
62.
It sounded like it slapped against the board.
30.
That one gets further away
Luke, you
to the
require
chagrin
72.
of Duffman.
Yeah, he's aware of the importance of levelling. Double 16.
Game shot on the second leg. Luke Littler.
Cool, calm, and collected so far.
He could have had the nickname Cool Hand,
Third
but
leg,
that's
it's
already
Luke
been
to throw
taken by a
first.
different
Game
look.
on.
Could have been called The Force, but that was taken by Justin Pipe.
Yeah, well,
100.
him and Luke Humphries would have a quick fire encounter, wouldn't they?
Get that one on pay-per-view.
100.
A real quick match, potentially record-breaking in terms of speed, will be our final match of this session.
140.
And Danny Lauby faces Luke Littler. That will be rapid.
Yeah, you might have to watch that game in slow motion for it to make
100.
full sense, because it will be very quick. This is a somewhat merciless performance
56.
from Littler so far.
It doesn't look as good as, I mean, just prior to that visit, it was at 106, and it's not looked like a 106. That's a sign of a player that makes this game look
100.
ridiculously easy.
That first start is starting to get there, isn't it?
165.
The other two aren't too bad either.
I was going to say the second and third weren't bad, Nico.
You know what? There was no deflection there at all on those 3 darts. They were all pure. And Duff, man,
81. Luke, you
is in
require 40.
nightmaresville because he's on the cusp of losing his 7th straight leg.
Well, he's upped his performance level considerably in this match.
20.
Although
Neil,
now
you
here's
require
another chance.
120.
And he's got to take it.
He's not going 3 double tops. Not like Reece Robinson.
Well, he could have gone ball
45.
there after that opening
Luke, you
dart.
require 20. Game
Double
shot
10
the
bang
third
for
leg.
3-0.
Lou Littler.
Duff is on the cusp of being donutted twice.
Yeah, and that was
Fourth leg,
just
it's Neil to throw
45
first. Game
darts
on.
used to win the opening 3 legs.
The old county average
100.
of 33.4. Nowadays, it's all about 3 dart averages. We used to count in old money in 1 dart averages.
180.
Well, you know what the 1 dart average was there. He's been pretty useful in the old 180 department so far this
60.
week as Luke. 24 before tonight started. He's got 2 in this game.
180.
Sorry, what? Make that 2 in this leg.
81. Luke, you require
No.
141.
Is this one going to go? Oh. Teasing us, Luke. Double 13. No, of course, treble 17 for
121.
double 10. He's on a 10.
Steve West
Nicely
got a 10
acknowledged.
earlier in the week. That's a great show of respect. Sometimes you just have to acknowledge that someone is putting you away.
85.
And Littler on his
Luke,
favourite
require
double
20.
is just seconds away from doing that.
No score.
Well, I don't think anybody expected that to happen.
No, my mic was switched off. I was ready to fill in my bespoke notes.
That's where Adrian Lewis would have put the
57.
darts in the pocket.
Luke, you require
Yeah.
20.
They were already gone. Double 5.
10.
Still not done.
Neil, you require
That's
118.
6 match darts missed.
Well, he's going to get more.
Luke was on the cusp of a massive average.
78.
Barely missed a double.
Luke, you require 10.
It's all about the results at the end of the day.
Game, shot,
And that is
and the match.
probably the most
Lou
substandard
Littler.
16-darter I've ever seen, because it should have been a 10. But he doesn't care. It's a 4-0 victory, still averaging in the high 90s. He's put in a performance like that exactly this week. If he keeps going like that, his participation in Saturday night is pretty much guaranteed. He's on 4 points after 2 games. Duff is on 0. And when we come back, it will be West against Danny Lauby to finish the first half of play tonight.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. There before the break, Luke Littler got the better of Neil Duff by 4-0. Right, next up for us, it is the man from the Midwest, Danny Lauby in action. He takes on Steve West. Let's watch these in the commentary box with Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
Thanks, Henry. And I'm from the Southwest. Nico's from the Northeast. These two are going to meet somewhere in the middle.
I've been everywhere, man. But I'm not really one from the West. I've been in the Northeast,
First
the
leg,
Southeast.
it's Steve to throw first.
Southeast of the
Game
planet.
on.
Well, Nico, I have to say it, but Neil Duff, in a world of trouble, played 2, lost 2, -8.
That sounds pretty cold.
In a cold
135.
place down there. Colin Osborne, slightly warmer, -4, but nil point.
121.
Didn't think I'd be saying I'd rather have -4. Especially when we're having the kind of summer that we're having here in the UK at the minute.
It's summer.
Rumour has it. Enough with the rumours anyway. Let's have a little bit of facts.
43.
Let's pay homage to Danny Lauby because he was given a choice. He might not have been here. But he
100.
has chosen, based on how important this is, to be here this week. He had qualified to play in a very famous bull shooter event in soft tip darts in Chicago
57.
this week, which held a $12,000 winner's check, which would have been live on American TV. But he's chosen to be here.
100.
Obviously because the winner's check is bigger, but ultimately because he wants to be a Super Series champion. He's been spending a lot of time in the UK trying to hone his talents. What does that tell you
140.
about this tournament? Got a win in his first game.
Steve, you require
4 legs to 3 with a
126.
really good last leg hold. Westy is looking for 57 more. That dart in the way didn't help.
54. Danny, you require 80.
Perfect first one. 5-5.
70. Steve, you require 72.
16's calling his name. 3 of them for 2 12s.
Normally very good over here.
48.
Just went the other way.
Danny, you
Didn't
require
bump
10.
in. Bumped out.
Game shot on the first leg.
A
Danny
bumper first
Lauby.
leg for Danny Lauby.
Second leg, it's Danny to throw first. Game on.
Steve West did have on Wednesday a lot of darts peppering the 60 bed
77.
on the wrong side of the wire, and he did find himself a little bit frustrated with that in his last 2 matches. Based on what we've seen tonight already, with his 4-0 win over Neil Duff,
120.
he wasn't really anywhere close to his best, but he still got the ideal result. I wonder what kind of ceiling we're going to get from him playing on
140.
Thursday and Friday night. Because over the last 3 days, he's been starting at 9:30 a.m. He'll be hoping he hasn't got the dreaded dart lag.
180.
Of course he hasn't.
$100.
West has got so much experience of playing fast players. Did you notice there that even he, as a fairly quick player,
140.
did not grace the oche until he was absolutely ready? About a 1 to 2 second gap between Danny finishing,
60. Steve, you require
See?
61.
just approaching at his pace, not being rushed into this visit. Double top.
Game
That
shot on the second leg.
is 1-1.
Steve West.
And that's how you respond, Nico, to having your throw broke. A 12 dart break back.
Third leg, it's Steve to throw first. Game on.
Players are warming to the task.
Aren't they just? This is game 5 already. Where has tonight gone?
140.
Have you ever been to Indiana, where our friend Danny's from?
Put it this way, if
43.
there was a ranking tournament there back in the day, I probably have. I did most of the States and a good bit of Canada. But it doesn't ring a bell to me. I'd have to have a dig around.
81.
I'll do that tomorrow, Nico.
Indiana very famous for their Indianapolis Colts. They had a very, very good football team
100.
around 20 years ago where Peyton Manning was their quarterback, one of the greats of the NFL. They've got some very good sports teams.
We always know a great American footballer because it's a sport I don't follow, but I've heard of that name, so he must have been
100.
a bit special.
Yeah, winner of multiple Super Bowls, one with the Indianapolis Colts, and he won one with the Denver Broncos as well.
42.
So famous for that fella, Indiana Jones.
I didn't see that coming. That was really good.
That's my second one of the week, Nico.
140.
Tops after 12 is a bit of a
59.
ubiquitous darts
See
term
required
for...
40.
He's playing all right, isn't he? Amazing how many times he leaves double top and he still doesn't get sick of it.
30.
But he won't be happy with that.
Oh, because that would have been back-to-back legs in 12 and 13 had he converted in one dart.
100. See
People that like
required
tops
10.
are not too scared of double five.
Or double one.
8. Danny, you
I'm trying to
require
help you here, Steve.
157.
I think we'll just stay quiet the next time he goes for it. Is there a next time? Is there a next time?
Game
There isn't
shot
a next time.
lay.
Wow.
Danny Lauby.
157 out of nowhere.
Highest checkout of the week, Nico.
Indeed, by 1 point.
Full take, it's Danny to
beating
throw
Rhys Robinson's
first. Game on.
156. That just goes to show, doesn't it? He was nowhere in that
59.
leg. Then wallop. Just like that. And for our American viewers, wallop means whiz bang.
59.
Brilliant.
really has-
140. Got his tail up,
140.
hasn't
He
he?
really has. That 157 has changed this.
With the 12 dart break back in leg 2 and then tops after 12 in leg 3, we're beginning to
140.
think West is going to start running away with this one.
42.
Didn't like any of those.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have. That was a very messy visit. Do you get the feeling that
56.
Lauby's spending more time in the UK over the last couple of years? It's to learn how to get better and to maybe find the ingredients to become an elite player. Because the ingredients are there. It's just a question of how much of them you put together.
Yeah, well, most real quick players do suffer with levels of consistency, and it's just about finding the right balance. But
Danny
what he is
required
getting,
137.
that he wouldn't necessarily get back home, is ultimately a
97.
higher level of
See,
play
required
and a
106.
higher level competitor to go up against.
Can't find the ton plus checkout.
74.
And this time it's
Danny
Lauby at
required
tops.
40.
He
20.
doesn't hit it either. This is very topsy-turvy,
Steve
just like
required
Lauby's first
32.
game against Osborne.
Yeah, this is... Steve West would be thinking, oh, well, this is a bit of payback.
I think this is really smart from West, you know, because sometimes with a quick player like Danny,
Game
you can
shot
find
the
yourself
fourth
getting
leg.
dizzy.
Steve West.
I've played Klassen, I've played Ricky Evans, I've played some really quick players, and you get swept away by the pace of your opponent.
Fifth leg. It's
It's
Steve to
really
throw
important
first.
to be
Game
patient
on.
and just take your own deliberate strides.
Yeah, stick to your own pace. But you're right, Nico. It is easy to get caught up in their pace of play.
180.
you just don't then take enough care. On your own throw.
95.
But I'm with you. I don't think Danny Laub is the the finished article yet. I think there's certainly more to come. Maybe one of those light bulb moments and
96.
it just clicks.
He's played in 2 PDC World Championships. And they gave him his biggest individual payday to date.
180.
And that gives him his first 180 of this match.
And applies a bit of pressure to Steve West. We've not had a holder throw yet, Paul.
Where have we heard that before?
65.
Oh, that's right. Lauby versus Osborne. Problem is,
59.
Danny doesn't have the darts.
CV required
In leg
160.
Surely that would be a good thing.
100.
That's what we said the first
Danny
time.
required 167.
157, he can't trumpet. With a 167.
60.
Now, can
CV
Steve
required
West find
60.
tops?
Two for it.
Game shot on the
It's
fifth
there.
play. Steve
Shielded
West.
by the first start, but confirmed by the referee. And now, with that hold of throw, Lauby needs the last
Sixth
two
leg. It's Danny to throw
to
first.
stay perfect.
Well, the legs west of Swan have been quality 12, 16 and 14.
100.
You can't accuse Steve West of not being in form throwing that kind of quality. He spoke with Henry a couple of days ago talking about how he
121.
regards himself still as one of the best players in the world without a tour card. I don't think there's anybody arguing with him, really.
180.
But who is going to be the best player this week and this series?
$100.
That £20,000 cheque on Saturday night. Whose life
43.
would benefit the most from that money?
I'd probably say Danny Lauby, the fact that he's had to relocate and the expense that's incurred. Although for Westy, who has to undergo a massive operation again that will keep him off his feet for several months and unable to earn.
128.
A bit like that
Senior
128.
required
I live for
100.
legs like this. Fast, furious, brilliant. West needs 100 to win in 12 darts.
20. Danny
He doesn't believe he's
required
coming back.
50.
And he might be right.
Game
He was
shot on
right,
the
all
sixth
right.
play. Danny
And they're going
Lauby.
all the way.
After 4 consecutive breaks, we've had 2 holds,
So
both
then
won
final leg.
in
It's
14
Steve to throw
darts.
first.
Flip
Game
the
on.
coin, Nico.
5 180s in the match. High quality, over 90 average to them both.
97.
If I was flipping that coin right now, I'd not be confident of calling a head or a tail.
100.
Nothing taken, nothing given in the first visit of this final leg.
60.
Someone said to Steve earlier tonight, I didn't know you had black darts. And he said, they're not black. They're
99.
gunmetal grey. You've changed, Steve. He is a particular kind of person. He likes to have things the way that they should be. He's like that with his golf clubs. He's like that with his
125.
darts. He's like that with most things that he handles. And I think a lot of dart players are like that. They like things the way
81.
they want them.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mr. OCD himself.
You're not wrong. Everything on this desk is perpendicular.
99.
Somebody had the audacity to say that I was regimented earlier in my career. They were right.
140. Steve
Great
required
140.
120.
Steve West, 120 to win an absolute thriller.
This really has been a good game. 1 dart at tops to win a brilliant match.
85. Danny, you
Feels the
require
pain of that
81.
dart, but is he about to feel more pain? Bullseye.
56.
Doesn't provide the pain.
Steve, you require
35 will
35.
provide the tonic. Double 10.
Game,
There's your
shot,
tonic.
and the match.
A superb
Steve
game
West.
of darts from both players, played in a fabulous spirit. Mid-90s average for West. He has raised his level from his first game by almost 10 points. And he got himself 3 maximums in there as well, but he was pushed to the end and survived one match dart from Danny Lauby of the United States. Well, that's the end of the first half of our play. When we come, it will be the third match for Colin Osborne, and the same for Neil Duff, who is still looking for his first leg of tonight.
Very warm welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we are halfway through the evening's action, which means it's high time to get the thoughts and analysis of Paul Nicholson up here on the balcony. Let's have a look first at the results on the games that we have seen so far this evening, and it's fair to say that we're beginning to see maybe a couple of splits in the group.
Yeah, just a little bit. Obviously, Steve West was really sharp in that second game. He was sharp enough in his first. But yet again, just like Group C earlier, we are seeing the players from Group A being a little bit sharper than the three coming in from the cold. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Do you think partially that, because it is Champions Week, it is a big occasion, there's some big prizes up for grabs? The players in Group A have had 3 days to kind of get over those initial, maybe early nerves and settlers, whereas obviously the players coming into Group C and Group B, they're going through that now, whilst the other players have had 3 days on the oche.
Yes and no. If you look back at early morning on Monday, Reece Robinson averaged 105 in his first game, so he had no problem getting straight into it. But other people, definitely yes. It's taken them a little bit of time to get going, but here's the problem with Group B. You haven't really got that time to get going because you've only got 8 games in 2 days. With Group C, you've got 10. So maybe a little bit of extra time to get going. So as far as things are concerned in the second half of Thursday, if you don't do it now, you might be too far behind.
Well, let's analyse the night then in chronological order in terms of the league standings. Luke Littler is top of the pile. Well, he's dropped just 1 leg from 2 games so far, and it has to be said, he's looking comfortable.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. He's made a few mistakes on doubles, but they are forgivable when you're getting plenty of chances. And as far as Steve West is concerned, you just get the feeling that moving from an 85 average to a 94 average over the 2 games he's played, there's still a lot in the tank. So those two are looking good. But as for the rest, it's all to play for.
As for Steve West, it's becoming a trend for him now that as the day goes along, we are seeing better stuff from him. Once he gets that first game out of the way, then we see the best of him.
Here's the thing about playing the Pro Tour all the time. You might be eliminated by 1:30 in the afternoon after playing 1 game and 2 hours of practice. Whereas with this format, you're guaranteed to play a certain amount of matches. And because you've played 5 games per day over the last 3 days, your engine is going to feel good. This will actually feel like a short format for him tonight, just playing 4 times. I think his engine looks pretty good for someone who is not playing all the time like some of the others.
As far as Danny Lauby is concerned, well, it's quick fire, it's rapid, it's brilliant. A 157 in there, 2 points to his name. What's your assessment on his night so far?
It's a bit erratic, but when it's good, it's really good. And I just love watching him. I think a lot of people tuning in tonight will say the same. But like a lot of other players, he's searching for consistency. When he finds it, because I firmly believe he will, then we've got a darting product on our hands. I think he's very raw, but very exciting. Really can't wait for the future.
Well, let's have a look and see what the league table stands at then following 2 rounds of matches for every single player. And as I say, seems to be a little bit of a split between the top and the bottom. Luke Littler, Steve West, both on 4 points. Colin Osborne and Neil Duff yet to get off the mark. And they face off in our next match here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And I know the players are behind us, but they both know how huge this game is potentially.
Oh, they do. They've been through the mill like this before in different campaigns, whether it be here with us, in Southampton with us, or with some other round-robin tournaments. When you get a bad start, you've got to get off the floor. You've got to find something that works and then run with it.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing how this one pans out. Colin Osborne up against Neil Duff here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. I'm watching this one in the commentary box alongside the asset, Paul Nicholson, is Chris Mason.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Paul. Huge game for both. Someone's O's got to go. Both pointless. Colin Osborne going down 4-1 to Luke Littler. Neil Duff going down full zip to Steve
First
West.
leg, it's Colin to
And
throw
Colin
first.
Osborne was edged out in a bit of
Game
a thriller
on.
against Danny Lauby, 4-3. And then Luke Littler double bageled Neil Duff, going down 4-0 again. So now is the time for one of these players
43.
to make their move. Both have one more match to play after this one. And for me,
60.
whoever wins this one has got to win their next one. And they're right in the mix. Minimum requirement on night 1 for me is at least
81.
2 wins from your 4 matches. 8 points is usually
140.
just about enough to get you out of a Group B. But the problem for Neil Duff, even if he gets to 8 points, he has to watch that.
177.
He's currently on -8. Colin Osborne on -4.
I know which one I'd rather be, mate.
123.
I'd rather have -4.
What?
Especially if I get the win in this game.
Well, exactly, because that leg difference can be turned around in one game.
85.
I've seen in Group B scenarios before where someone has lost their first game 4-0, but then won the next one 4-0 themselves, and everything is eradicated.
Yeah, I just didn't really anticipate.
48.
We've not had too
Colin
many
required
4-0s over the
150.
course of 4 days so far. And you wouldn't expect too many either. Not when all these players have,
Game
by
shot on the
right,
first leg.
won a place
Colin
in this
Osborne.
Champions Week. And Colin Osborne makes a much better start. A 177 in the leg. A 115 checkout.
Second leg, it's nil to throw
and a
first.
15
Game
dart
on.
hold. That's the level of play we've come to expect from Colin Osborne.
I don't mean to be a downer,
180.
but if you're in a position where you've lost 9 straight legs, how do you feel?
120.
It would have felt a lot worse had that 60 gone in for Colin to answer the max of the Duff man.
Well, it's like when you've played in a round robin format and you're just
100.
begging to get your first win. He's craving his first leg. Adds even more pressure to the situation because then you begin to feel a little bit embarrassed as well.
125.
We do know that Neil came in today from Northern Ireland.
140.
What's your assessment of that?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it could be a bit. It's a bit risky. He said his flight was delayed a little bit. Landed at
85.
3
Neil, you
o'clock.
require
And
81.
then got to Portsmouth around 6. Leaving it a little bit tight, but he knows best. He's so experienced, of course, that
41.
if he feels that suits him, then it'd be interesting to see the level of play tonight and the level of play tomorrow night, if it differs.
And I think we're going to have that with our friend
97.
Patrick van der
Neil, you
Vaart
require 40.
tomorrow because he couldn't fly into the UK until this morning.
20.
That's a chance for Osborne to
Colin,
make
you
it double
require
figures.
74.
Legs against Duff.
I think he landed at, what did he say, around 8 o'clock this morning and then got a cab from Heathrow.
Indeed. Oh, he's missed the single.
34.
Duff man
Neil, you require
could now
20.
get himself off the mark.
Ten.
Not yet.
Colin, you require
Because of the
40.
scenario, Nico, there's just so much doubt, isn't there?
I have to say yes. Well, that one bends the wire.
Game shot on
And
the
that one
second
changes the
leg.
score.
Colin Osborne.
This is
Third leg, it's
a
Colin to
darting
throw first.
disaster
Game
for
on.
Duff. Nothing is going right so far this evening.
If this continues,
51.
Duffman is going to be made redundant. I know the Simpsons character goes, oh yeah. Right now it's oh no.
100.
The thing is that the throw looks okay to me. There's nothing in the fundamentals that suggests that
60.
struggling in any department. Just nothing's gone his way.
Just a bit of a slow start against Steve West, averaging 79.5. Did improve by 7 points in his next game.
140.
But because he's improving, I think other people are improving at a slightly faster rate. His play is
83.
being made to look poor when it's not. It's just the other people in Champions Week are playing at a better level than him right now.
Yep.
100.
He is finding another gear, but so is everybody else. And maybe two at times. Certainly could be said about Littler against Duff.
81. Neil, you
He
require
really went through the gears in that
161.
Didn't he just? I think we've got to the stage now where we want Neil to get his first leg. We are
65.
cut from a very merciless cloth, us dart players. But when we're sitting in a commentator's chair, we can honestly say, come on, Neil. Time to get that first double.
Well, not being competitive anymore gives us a little bit more empathy, doesn't it?
140. Neil, you require 96.
I used to be a rather cold individual. Double 18.
60.
Osborne hits this.
Colin, you require 86.
Duff's expression will tell you everything.
Treble 18 gets it. Disaster for Duff if this goes in. And he can slide down the side of
Aim
that.
shot on the
And
third
he
leg.
does exactly
Colin
that. And that shake
Osborne.
of the head is the reaction myself and Nico anticipated.
And Colin is
Fourth
doing
leg,
his
it's
job.
Neil to throw
He's thrown
first.
50 darts for the
Game
first
on.
3 legs, averaging a shade over 90. And when you consider his level of play so far, he's improved from game 1 to game 2, lost them both, but he's improved
83.
again, which proves our point.
Well, yeah, because Duff he's losing 3-0 after having 6 darts at a double, and he's averaging 88. His
100.
increments of improvement are not big enough, Nico.
$60.
How much would this do for Osborne? His leg difference, like Chris mentioned, is at -4. A 4-0 win
95.
would wipe that out, and it would get him on exactly the same total as Danny Lauby in points and leg difference.
60.
We have Littler against West next. That promises much.
He has the potential to go from joint bottom straight up to third. That's the beauty of this Group B.
98.
This is why I love Group B. My favourite group of the week.
$86.
Duff is starting to feel like Loki in Thor Ragnarok when Doctor Strange puts him in a bit of a wilderness and he falls out and he says, I've been
44.
falling for 30 minutes. He's been falling for about an hour and a half. Horrible feeling to constantly
60.
try and come up
Colin,
dry.
you require
You're battling against yourself and
164.
the opponent. Treble 18. Ooh, he'll stay there.
96. Neil, you require
If you're going to get your first leg,
152.
this would be a pretty good way to get it.
$60. Colin, you
might
require
have to wait.
68.
Until game 8 of the night to get his first leg. 15's needed, of which he gets 3. And
48.
a match dart slips by, giving Duff
Neil,
one
you require
chance
92.
here in leg 4.
Does he go ball? No, might be double here. Yeah, well over pitched. Oh, hello. Can't hit one double. Say, can he
74.
nearly hit 2.
That's
Colin,
the
you
most
require
ridiculous
20.
irony. He hasn't hit a leg-winning double, but he's hit a double en route to one.
No score.
He's got double 9.
Neil, you require
And
80.
given a bit of a gift. Double 4.
10.
Oh, that is so close.
Colin, you require
Actually-
20.
Moves the wire. Nothing is going his way.
Game,
It's gone
shots,
Colin's way.
and the match.
He
Colin
understands
Osborne.
how Neil feels. He knows it's a very disconsolate feeling to be done 4-0 3 times. He tried so hard in that game, but Neil constantly came up dry. And Osborne, who was improving, just took advantage of those misses in the end to get that 4-0 victory, which eradicates his negative leg difference and gets him on the board with his first 2 points in Group B. When we come back, it will be West against Littler. It promises much because these two have played fabulously this week.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where the disastrous night for Neil Duff continues. He's still yet to win a leg. He's losing 4-0 there to Colin Osborne following their third game of the evening. So Osborne gets off the mark. Neil Duff still in the starters' blocks. Right, next up for us, it is Luke Littler in action up against Steve West. The two players who dropped down from Group A, the two players of unblemished records so far. Something's got to give. Chris Mason, Paul Nicholson.
Even with a defeat in this game, the person who sits on 4 points after the next possibly 7 legs will still be in a pretty strong position. They will not lose their place in the top 2. Littler has the darts here tonight. On Friday, Steve will have the darts in game number 4 when they play.
180.
But this is their 4th meeting of the week, and every time they've played, it's been 4-3. That's why I said at the end of the
60.
previous match that this promises much.
Yeah, Luke's the 1-2 gambling favourite. Steve West 6-4.
First change of equipment for the night for
57.
Luke. Gone with the somewhat yellow-tinged translucent stems and foldable flights. Because that's exactly what you do when you
135.
4-0 with a 98.56 average. There you get a nice close-up of the shoes, but it's the socks we're interested in.
Do I sense a strong sock game? You're a big fan of that, aren't you, Paul? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got dogs on mine tonight.
Nice.
What about you, miss?
139. Luke, you require 142.
Just keep your ticks away from my dogs.
Another one of those. Oof.
$122. Steve, you require 167.
That was fast thinking from Littler. I do wonder, you know.
47.
I think about these things all
Luke,
the
you
time.
require 20. Game
Just
shot
what
on the
Sid
first
Waddell
leg.
would make of
Luke
Luke Littler.
Littler.
Yeah, he would adore him. Absolutely
Second
adore
leg,
him.
it's Steve to throw first. Game on.
Sid was always fascinated with Eric as a 17-year-old player who had the world at his feet.
100.
If a lad of this age and ability would have come along, I think Sid would have exploded.
57.
Yeah, I think strong sock games from dart players is a bit of a thing these days. Scott Williams likes a strong pair of socks. Ted Everts as well, who is
60.
celebrating his birthday for the next 3 minutes. Sorry, make that 2 minutes. He's got more decorative pairs of socks than
97.
anybody I've ever met. He's had socks with hot dogs on them and all sorts of different other themes. But we are reliably informed that there are pizzas on Luke's tonight.
57.
I'm not sure Sid would have been a fan of those. One of Sid's great quotes, of course, when Alexander of Macedonia was 33, he cried salt tears because there were no
58.
more worlds to conquer. Bristow's only 27. Well, if he goes on in December to pick up the WDF world title, could have
44.
said Littler is only 16.
You have a favourite Sid Waddell line? Or was that it?
180.
that's one of my personal favourites. But the vinegar on a chip at the Circus Tavern
100.
was
Luke,
You could hear a
require
blob of vinegar drop on a
109.
chip in here. That was one of the best lines ever delivered by a sports commentator.
69.
I was a big fan of the one for Shane Burgess.
Steve, you require 140.
And Shane's as happy as a hound dog with a year supply of Bonio. That's what Steve would feel if he hits a 140 checkout. Double 10.
130.
Well, Burgess came up with a great quote of his own, of course, when he said, yeah,
Luke,
Taylor
you
gives you
require
chances.
40.
161, 164, 167, 170.
Game shot on the
Luke
second
Littler's
leg.
giving minimal
Luke
chances
Littler.
to West. In fact, he's only given him one shot at a double. In this game so far, there's only been 3 shots at a double. Littler's hit 2,
Third leg, it's Luke
and
to throw
West's missed
first.
1.
Game on.
I don't necessarily think we're seeing the best
97.
of Littler here tonight, but what we are seeing is a sustained level that is better than most of the players this week. Here is a young man who was
42.
averaging 97 for all of Monday. Yeah, it does look like pizzas on the socks in those very, very fancy shoes.
100.
I remember going on an Australian trip with Adrian Lewis once. He went shopping with his wife.
180.
Came back with a pair of shoes in this big fancy bag and we said, oh, what you bought, Adrian? And he said, oh, I went and got some new dart shoes. Oh, Let's have a look then. How much did they cost you? And he said $550. We
94.
couldn't breathe. He made the final. He did look very nice. So then he justified the cost by making the final 2 of the tournament. And Luke's doing a pretty good
94.
job because he doesn't know the meaning of defeat here in a weekly sense.
56.
You just get the feeling that Westy's got to get to the 2 dart outs and the 1 dart outs just a little bit quicker. No 140s so far in this game. That may be about to change.
137.
But it's
Luke
as
to
good as a
require
140.
154.
Another one of those for tops.
Doesn't like the lie.
Awkward. No. He's going to have to come around it. Well, he tried a flatty. Tried to take out the
130.
deflection or potential
Steve, you
deflection.
require 48.
Trusty tops.
Game
It
shot on the
works.
3rd low. Steve West.
He misses that. He's 3-0 down.
4th leg, it's
You
Steve
don't
to throw
see
first.
much hope.
Game on.
From 3-0 down against Littler when he's in this kind of mood.
Nope. Not when he's averaging in excess of a ton after 3 legs.
If you're Westy,
41.
approaching the age of 50, I did say the word approaching. Is he relishing this challenge against a young man, or is he saying
91.
he's a pesky little thing?
Yeah, having spent a lot of time and practice with Steve West, he does love a challenge. Remember, he's big pals with Merv King, and they used to practice
100.
a lot together. And I used to practice myself back in the day with Merv, and when Merv's practices, it's all business.
Oh, yeah.
He's
100.
brutal.
I used to practice with Mervyn before we played Championship League darts, which is, well, it was very similar to this. And he was a great hit-out partner.
180.
I get the feeling that this schedule that Steve has had this year really suits him.
100.
He's coming into weeks like this with freshness, and that will feel different to the past few years.
Yeah.
He had a tour card for a decade.
140.
This is what I mean about getting to the double quicker. If he can get there in this kind of fashion after 12 darts,
96.
he's taking Littler
Steve,
out
you
of the
require
leg.
40.
His scoring ability is his best quality in
Game
this
shot on
sport,
the
and it's got him
4th
to
low.
2-2.
Steve West.
Well, there's some response, Nico, from being 2-0 down, 180 and a 15 dart
5th leg,
breaker
it's Luke
throw.
to throw first.
A 180
Game
and a
on.
14 dart hold. We've got a game on our hands all of a sudden.
You know, there have been times where I've spent a lot of time with Steve on tour. He used to be on my table. at Pro Tour
134.
events. I used to think about him in this way. Does he realise how good he is? I think in 2018, he realised how good he was.
36.
Making 2 European Tour semi-finals and the quarterfinals of the European Championship after beating Michael van Gerwen. At that point, I think he understood how good he was.
83.
Unfortunately for him, he has been plagued by injury, which goes under the radar a lot of the time. You tend to forget how tough it's actually
171.
been for him. And I'm going back, got to be around 20 plus years ago. He had his
140.
first hip replacement, which displaced his hips ultimately, which meant that one leg was
70.
longer than the
Luke
other.
require 144.
One thing's for sure, when surgeons don't get everything right,
132.
just held our breath for a second there. When surgeons don't get it right, bad things can happen. Just ask Michael van Gerwen.
140.
The pressure
Luke
from
require
Steve West.
12.
Well, this is a surgical performance in
Game
this
shot on the
leg, and
5th play. Lou
that's a
Littler.
13 dart hold. Well, this match is 5 legs deep. The average is 102.91.
Sixth leg, it's Steve to
Littler,
throw first.
96.8
Game on.
West.
I was going to ask you, Mace, what do you want to see first? The averages or the double statistics? Because they're both good. Tell you what we'll do. We'll hold on for a minute because they might get even better. This really is more like the Luke Littler that we hoped to see. And what is that dart that we've seen twice now?
It's a bit of a worry. It's either he's trying to adjust on the fly and it's too late because it's out of his hand.
Have patience, young man. Stay in position.
Just took an extra second or two on that visit. Just made sure.
99.
Now. Was the bull calling on that last start? We'll find out in a minute just how different this leg could have been had he gone bull or 25. Now it's 418's bull. Or bull first. No. Oh, that would have been the finish of the series. That's a little bit of Littler.
Luke required
like
81.
He thought that was fun. So did we.
Well, I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, that was different. But this is for the win. Double 12. What a great game of darts.
The match,
11 darter. And I think they both enjoyed that game. Can we just do that again? They both averaged over 100. Westy by 100th of a point. But Littler with 107.55 and 80%. That was a great performance. But that last leg, my word, that was great entertainment. And we've got more coming your way. Danny Lauby of the United States taking on Northern Ireland's Neil Duff, who will finish his campaign and look for his first leg and his first win.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. What a game we saw before the break. Luke Little with an average of 107.5, getting the better of Steve West by 4 legs to 2. Steve West, who in the last leg of the game, with 122 points remaining, went bull, double 11, and just missed the bullseye by a whisker. Right, next up for us, Neil Duff playing in his last game of the evening. He takes on Danny Lauby, and this is being watched in the company of Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
We're still here, Henry, and we are still buzzing from that previous game, which really was a great spectacle. But now we turn our attention to the challenge of Danny Lauby, currently sitting in the position of 4th in the table.
It's Neil to throw first. Game on.
Up against Neil Duff, who's 5th, but hasn't won a leg tonight so far. The sooner he can change that, the better.
Well, we just found another one of the great
100.
Sid Waddell's quotes, and it was very apt for Luke Littler in that last game. It's like trying to pin down a kangaroo on a trampoline. And that's very fitting, because that's what it must have felt like for Steve West against Luke Littler there.
41.
You think about the kind of visits that you don't want your opponent to have at the start of a match. And the one thing Neil Duff did not want to hear was 180 for Danny Lauby.
No, backed up with a ton.
If my memory serves me right, and I don't mean to tempt fate here, I'm not that kind of person. I don't believe in fate. But I'm going all the way back to Southampton about 2 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that Aaron Monk had a night like this, and he barely won a leg. And Aaron Monk is a world-class player. It can happen to the best of them. But I assure you, if Duff walks away with 2 points tonight,
Danny required 161.
he's going to feel pretty happy.
99.
Yeah, so
Neil, you require
it's a must-win game. I mean, we have
160.
seen players not get a win on the opening night and then come back on the Friday night and somehow qualify it. So it is possible.
140.
I think Dave
Danny
Pallett
requires
lost
62.
4 games on Thursday and went through the card on Friday.
Game shot on the first
But
leg.
Didn't Josh
Danny
Richardson do
Lauby.
it? Why do I think he did it? I can't remember. We'll have to have a look over our notes.
Second leg, it's Danny to
There's a
throw
typical
first.
example when it's not your night. He's hit 140 to leave 20, and then he's watched
98.
Danny Lauby knock the 62 around for a 14-dart break of throw.
Name your superlative, really.
85.
You managed to solve the conundrum in about 19 seconds, but your opponents hit the buzzer in 18 seconds and they win the game.
60.
And it was actually 97 seconds, Nico. That's how long the leg lasted.
100.
We do have that information at hand.
You are enjoying the coverage and you have any questions for myself or Nico?
180.
We are on all the usual social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
140.
But Nico will have the app open if you do have any questions or comments. We'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from?
59.
If you're tuning in from the United States, we want you to get in touch because we want to know where you're tuning in from. Has your town got a strange name? Because we know that some of those American tournaments have got very great names. Doesn't get the 16s that he needed. In fact, half of what he required. And Duff gets a chance to equalise at 1-all.
You require 81.
Come on, Neil.
This will make him feel a whole lot better.
69. Danny, you require 36.
Honestly, it's like there's a goalkeeper on the outer ring. It's almost inevitable that this is going in.
Game shot on the second leg.
It's exactly how Neil's
Danny
rolling.
Lauby.
And that miss was ideal for a left-hander.
Third leg, it's Neil to throw first. Game on.
It's had 16 shots at a double tonight and missed them all.
140.
That would affect anybody on Earth, including a robot, because they're learning machines these days.
140.
And even when he starts with a 140, his opponent is just knocking on the door of the additional frustration that Neil is feeling.
15.
But don't underestimate just how important this game is for Danny.
96.
He gets 2 more points. He leapfrogs Colin Osborne and gets back into the top 3. And would be on the same points tally as Steve West before he plays Osborne in the next game.
56.
He's got an opportunity to get the double break from here.
57.
Squandered the opportunity. Did have the option of going up for a treble 20 with that final dart to leave 167.
Neil's going to be playing in the senior match play pretty
55.
soon, isn't he?
He is, yep. That's in September at the York Barbican. Tickets available. Same place. You can get a ticket
100.
for here on Saturday night. If there's any left, you'll have to be super quick. www.dartshop.tv.
140.
You know it makes sense, everyone.
Danny
The weather's
required
terrible.
108.
Get indoors, watch the darts. Come and join us.
Treble 16 for tops.
Game
Ouch.
shot on the third leg. Danny Lauby.
Well, he can do no wrong, whereas Neil Duff can do no right.
Fourth leg, it's Danny to throw first.
Right now, Neil Duff could fall in a bucket of chicken and come out sucking his thumb.
121.
Like the way you changed that one, Nico.
Everything
Thankfully.
Everything has gone the way of his opponents. Everything.
100.
Don't forget that Lauby's
91.
playing some pretty good stuff in this game.
Yeah, averaging.
He's averaging close to 100.
And again, Neil has just picked his game up a bit. And it's just not enough.
140.
Maybe if you'd played a little worse
59.
and dragged them down a bit, it might have worked. But obviously improving every game seems to reinforce the opponents.
180.
Well, he's guaranteed a shot at that 81. But you know what's coming?
Yeah.
He's going to leave 90.
140.
And then hit the ball.
Neil, you require
When Neil
81.
misses the ball on the 81, it's going to be 16. Well, it's double 9. Bonus.
72.
You called it, miss. You think Lauby's going to hit the ball on
Danny,
this?
you require
20 ball.
90.
Oh, 25 ball.
He went for the 51 and got it. And he's had a
78.
shot to give Neil
Neil, you
Duff a
require
legless
9.
night.
I've had a few of those.
Come on, Neil. Everybody wants you to hit this, apart from Danny.
Game
Well
shot on
done.
the fourth leg. Neil Duff.
That took some spirit. I guarantee you that. That relief, that will be felt for the next 12 hours.
Fifth leg, it's Neil to throw first.
But it is a break of
Game
throw.
on.
Setbacks pave the way for getbacks, Nico.
Love that line. Just imagine the feeling if he was to get through this for the win now.
180.
Only a 180 in the last leg. He's hit 1 in leg 5.
59.
180 is a response to getting that leg.
100.
Scoring-wise in this game, it's been pretty useful. High 90s average.
Yep. 6 scores are between a ton of
100.
139. 5 140s, 2 180s. An average of 98.05. He still finds himself 3-1 down. That could be reduced to 3-2 in throw or so's time. He's got time on his side.
85. Neil, you require 120.
Couldn't even finish there, Lauby. But Duff has got time to double up.
47.
Already got a leg difference of -12 before this result.
57.
Everybody
Neil, you
else
requires
is
74.
handily placed. Double top.
54.
Luke Littler, 3 from 3. The only unbeaten
60.
player this evening.
Neil, you require 20.
6 points plus 9.
Game shot on the
Second leg
fifth
for Duff.
day. Neil
Like
Duff.
London buses now. It was the right colour. It was red.
Sixth leg, it's Danny to throw first.
Just got to replicate what he's done the last couple of legs to get his first win. Who said that winning 4 legs is a hard thing to do? You just got to do
81.
what you've already done. Trying to simplify it a little bit here.
59.
All of those touching the outside wire of the required target.
Danny
57.
can still walk away from tonight with 6 points, which would be a very fruitful evening in this company.
Absolutely.
But he would have to beat Neil
140.
from this position and beat Luke Littler, which right now is looking quite difficult.
That was a bit of an
98.
understatement. His night so far has been an improving one. Littler averaged 82 in a
56.
fairly scrappy performance in the opening game against Colin Osborne. Then responded with a 98.56 and
95.
107.55.
Second best average of the week behind his top average of 113. We talked about Reece Robinson having his own
66.
big finish
Danny
highlight reel.
required
Well, as far as averages are
170.
concerned, it's all about Littler. This one's all about Lauby.
105.
All he can do, 140 and cross everything.
140.
Better start crossing, Neil.
Danny
done
requires
his bit.
65.
Double 10.
Game,
And that is the
shots,
game for Danny
and the
Lauby.
match. Danny
Unfortunately for
Lauby.
Duff, it was a nightmare tonight, but he will still have a chance of getting through this group. It will be a slim chance, but ultimately in that one, even though he had the better average, he just gave himself a little too much to do. As you can see, they had the same amount of attempts at checkouts, but Danny was a bit more efficient. When we come back, it will be Steve West and Colin Osborne finishing their night's work.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Danny Lauby has doubled his win tally for the evening after getting the better of Neil Duff by 4 legs to 2. Right, a couple more matches to go for us. Steve West in action up next. He takes on Colin Osborne. Watching this one in the commentary box, Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
Lots of experience on the stage right here, as we have the most experienced MODUS Super Series champion here in Colin Osborne, but in his CV here, there's one thing missing.
First leg, it's Steve to throw first. Game on.
And that is a series win. Weekly wins have not been a problem. He's got a couple here, and he got a couple in Southampton as well. But getting the big check
83.
and his hands and fingerprints on the big trophy, that's what he craves. And right now, with 2 points in the bank and a chance to get 4,
26.
how do you assess his chances, Chris Mason, of getting to Saturday if he loses this game?
I think it's going to be ultimately tough because
41.
the three above him have been playing at a superior level so far in Lauby, West and Littler.
26.
And although Steve West was defeated by that 107.55 average from Littler, he did produce an average in excess of
93.
100 himself. And Steve started the night with an 85-89 and a 4-0 win over Neil Duff. He raised that to a 94-47 and then
100.
raised it again, albeit in defeat. Remember, he went oh so close to levelling that match up with a incredible effort at 1-2-2.
135.
Now, these two have actually played each other twice before in pro-level darts. One of them was in a European Tour event back in 2013.
Steve, you require
Shit, over 10 years ago.
149.
Westy won that game by 6 legs to 3, fairly comfortably, with an average in excess of 91. But in the next round, he would lose to Wes Newton
93.
with an average of 104.5.
Big numbers back then.
Pesky Newton.
Yeah.
Second time he's come up tonight.
44. Steve, you require 56.
Well, Steve has been taking the glasses off and on a bit tonight. Maybe the sign of a little bit of eye
Aim shot on the
tiredness, but
first
you wouldn't
leg.
think it.
Steve West.
That's a really sharp finish in 17 darts.
Second leg, it's Colin to throw first. Game on.
I can't remember the last time I saw Steve looking so comfortable. And yet, we know how much pain he's in.
137.
You mentioned Wes Newton, and when he played in the week that I played in the week 12, and I hit a 177 to leave a double.
100.
And he wanted 78, and he went treble 18, double 9, double 3, much to his amusement, to win the match at 3-3.
Yeah, he was in my group as well. Guess what happened? He beat me twice.
45.
I love the guy to bits. But honestly, it's been a case of my career. Every time I turn a corner and think, oh, this could be mine. There's just this
100.
big, vivid Wes Newton standing in my way. I know for a fact that if there's a heaven, that when I get there, Wes Newton's going to be the one with the clipboard.
$140.
It's good stuff. Really good stuff. Osborne hasn't really lit the touch paper in this one. Not yet, at least.
Right on cue.
140. Steve, you require
That'll do.
161.
Nice $2 84. Especially when West is not going to take that one out.
91. Colin, you
Even when he
require
doesn't.
84.
He lingers. Beautiful dart. That really is a prime treble 20 for Colin Osborne, whether he's approaching something or scoring.
72.
Having said that, that first dart at
Steve,
double
you
12,
require
that was a real
70.
hindrance.
This would be typical of Steve West. Yeah, here's a single. It's a 20 and tops. Purposely tried to place that one to the left
50.
to leave an open target.
Colin, you require 12.
Show me somebody in World Darts who says they don't like double six, and I'll show you a liar. Everybody likes double six.
Perfect for a right-hander, isn't it? Right at the end of your throw. Anything you got to worry about
Game
is your
shot
line,
the
isn't
second
it?
low. Colin Osborne.
If only every double was double six.
Third leg, it's Steve.
It's amazing
to
how
throw
different
first. Game on.
a double can be from a prime position like the 3 o'clock double. But as soon as you go one further south, I can't
95.
stand double 10. But I love double six. It's got to be psychological because there's not a great deal of difference between the two.
60.
Double 8 and double 4 have been my most costly financially.
140.
When you're Steve West, you're constantly leaving double 12, double top, double 10, and sometimes double 5. You can probably think of the most important shots that he's
60.
missed because he tends to stick to this game plan like some players do.
59.
They played each other twice, in fact, these two. And I mentioned that Austrian Darts Open from 2013, which was one shock horror by
100.
Michael van Gerwen. But the other time they played was in a qualifier for the Gibraltar Darts Trophy in 2018. Ultimately, Steve would get
133.
through those qualifiers in Milton Keynes and then make the semis of that European Tour event where he lost to Michael van Gerwen. And that tournament was won by...
180.
I don't even need to finish that sentence.
Steve, you require 74.
13 ball. Oh, Steve. Now, is that a little bit of tiredness? Or
34.
just
Colin, you require 101.
taking his eye off the target?
This is where you've got to be really smart with how you program your energies through the day. Playing at this time is not natural.
81.
I think Osborne is one of those players who
Steve,
has
you require 40.
become very accustomed to playing at 12:30 in the morning. Double 10.
20.
Somehow that one doesn't go in.
Colin, you require 20.
Same problem. Different solution.
Game shot on the third low.
A little
Colin
fortunate
Osborne.
to be leading with a 17 dart break of throw.
Fourth leg, it's Colin to throw first.
Especially when he's
Game
averaging
on.
12 less than Steve West. That tells you a very interesting story. It's not often you have a 75 average against Steve and you are leading
60.
after 3 legs. But a difference of 13 points. If some dart players saw that right now, they'd be
140.
grasping for their hair and pulling it out.
83.
Now we can attack that dart. That one's a bit precarious.
140.
He threw it quickly. I tell you what, if that second dart was wobbling, I know with all the pain in his hip, he wouldn't have ran to the board, but he would have wanted to.
100.
Back to back 140s in a leg. He will feel he has to win. Just keeping Osborne off the hill.
What's the worst darts injury you think that someone can get then?
54.
I reckon either the lead leg knee or the elbow, because I had the elbow. I had the RSI.
60. Steve, you require
It was
167.
just horrific. Every time I threw a dart, it was like a knife going through the... I don't know why they
57.
call it the humorous bone, because it's not very funny. Maybe that's the irony of calling it the funny bone.
100.
I
Steve, you
never thought about it like
require
that before.
110.
I've broken my humerus on my left side. It wasn't very funny at all.
I chipped a bone that was floating around in mine, and to actually break it must have been
78.
horrific.
Colin, you require 98.
Tell you what isn't funny either. Hitting a single one when you've got 110. How about 78 more? With 2 darts. Not this time.
58.
West has
Steve, you require 32.
golden opportunity of an equaliser here. Doesn't spend a great deal of time on double 16. Oh, it's double 12.
20. Colin, you
I say that
require
he's had plenty
40.
of chances in this match. He's missed 7 darts at double.
Game
And
shot
for
on the
some reason, you
foreplay.
just knew
Colin
that was going
Osborne.
in.
Yeah, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Fifth egg, it's Steve to throw first.
Think about all of
Game
the
on.
quality that we've had from Westy tonight. The tenacity from Osborne. But ultimately, if Colin was to win this leg or another in this match,
140.
he's going to walk away with the same points as Steve West. For some reason, that doesn't feel right.
Well, Steve West was in second
81.
position. Colin Osborne was in 4th. They will trade places if Osborne wins this leg.
Very interesting.
140.
I'll tell you what, though. Osborne will not be 100% pleased with the way he's played tonight, but if he walks away with 4 points, sitting comfortably in the top 3, he'll think,
140.
well, we've pulled a rabbit out of the hat here, haven't we, boys?
As I suggested, you win 2 of your 4 on each night. Will take you to 8 points. And
57.
for me, that should be just about enough, Nico.
It'll be fascinating to
135.
see what we get from Lauby and Littler.
164.
Well, quick is what we're going to get. Are we going to get a 164?
139.
Good try.
Colin, you
In
require
fact, it was better than good. It
145.
was an excellent try. This would be something. That was another excellent attempt.
85. Steve, you require 25.
Steve cannot afford to keep missing these doubles.
15.
Look how close that double 10 was. Couldn't have been any closer.
Colin, you require 60.
But Osborne has been there to pounce every single time that West has missed.
Is he going to do it for a 4th time? Double 10.
40.
Oh, then Westy.
Steve, you require 10.
He's 1 from 11 on the doubles.
Game shot on the
Make
5th
that
leg.
2
Steve
from 12,
West.
and he's still got that 10-point advantage in averages, so he's going to get
6th leg,
opportunities,
it's Colin to
because
throw
that
first.
seems to be
Game on.
just staying the same throughout, Nico. He's not been able to bridge that gap, and Westy's level has not dipped.
We say in the first 3 days of the week that
135.
leg difference will come into play at some point. And when you shorten the group format to Group C, where it's only 2 days, it
134.
becomes more prevalent. But in this group, we don't know just how important it was that West won that 5th leg. I've seen many a Group B where 2 players are separated by 1 solitary leg. Just getting that opportunity to get that double 5 might be enormous.
100. $100.
Just to squeeze a ton out of that. Forcing Westy into a 2-treble visit.
Oh,
80.
no, he's got a hat stand.
Colin, you require 131.
I was gonna say the switch probably looked the best, but may not matter.
He gets a single 20s on a finish.
91.
Gets the hanging dart. He's not. If he'd gone single 17 or the treble, it would have left a finish. I know it's easy to see in hindsight. And he's got a dart on the floor again. That's bad fortune.
80.
He's been fighting bad fortune the whole match.
Colin, you
narrow
require
misses at doubles.
40.
Ultimately, Osborne's back on tops for a vital 2 points.
20.
Can't bank it.
So then Westy.
Steve, you require
107.
107.
3-3. And back on throw. Treble 16.
Should have gone bull
83.
7 bull.
Colin, you require 20.
If Osborne slips again, West is there. Double 5.
Game.
And he
shot,
doesn't slip on
and the
up on
match.
5s either.
Colin Osborne.
That's a huge 2 points for Colin Osborne. They will be back in game 2 a little bit later on tonight. That will be around 10:30. So you'll have to wait a good 20 hours for that one. But for now, Osborne wins with the lesser average by a good 9 points. And he had 18 darts at a double to get the job done in that one. So he finishes on 4, as does West. But where will Littler finish? Will it be on 8? You'll have to find out after the break.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. We're joined up here on the balcony by Colin Osborne. Colin, fair to say a night of two halves for you?
Yeah, 100%. It's I've not, if I'm honest, I've not felt comfortable. You know, there was no fluency there, no rhythm as I play though these days. But like you say, 2 losses, 2 wins. It's all to play for, you know. So we'll go back, regroup, and get ready for tomorrow.
Is there anything you can put those fluency issues down to?
Not really. It's like I think I could speak for everyone across the board. You know, big competitions, you know, big tournaments. You know, you go and play. You want to go and play well. You know, you do all the preparation right. You practice hard, and sometimes you know it doesn't happen. You know, you try and find a way to happen, then you start forcing the issue. But you know, 2 out of 4. Yeah, I'm a good place. You know, sat nice. So again, like you say, it's all to play for tomorrow.
And you know exactly what Group B is all about, don't you? It's a short course format, but if you can put yourself in the mix after day 1, then you know that anything's possible on night 2.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's like you say there. Now I've lost 2, I've won 2. I'm on 4 points. 3 from 5 us go through. You know, tomorrow night. So I'm in a good position. You know, I won't panic just yet.
Most certainly not. And as I say, back tomorrow night for another 4 matches. The second time for yourself here at Champions Week. Did the experience of the previous time just help you to settle in a little bit better this time round?
I could say yeah, but I've played this game a long time, you know, and then it's even coming on the Monday, you know, you go through. If you get through on the Wednesday, it's a bonus. But I've always prepared myself for 5 days. Obviously, I've come in there with the 2 days now. It's like you say, it is. You know, you prep yourself for it. But I won't be panicking just yet. It's still like you say, we've got another go tomorrow, and I'm more than capable of coming winning all 4 and getting to Champions Week final on Saturday night.
And have a mixed grill preparation tomorrow?
Well, we'll see. Yeah. It was nice today, to be fair. Yeah, but we'll see tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, Colin, thank you for popping up. Well done on your efforts tonight. We'll see Colin Osborne in action tomorrow evening. One more game for us to go tonight, and I think this will be lightning quick as Danny Lauby takes on Luke Littler. So down in the commentary box, maybe having to do their best David Croft impression. Here's Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
Henry, thank you, Colin, and great insight. Something that we've spoke of in depth, that you can't prep. Well, you can put all the prep in, but sometimes you just don't know what your form's going to be like, or you can have a dip of form just at the wrong time.
You can replicate as much as you want from a winning formula, but ultimately, we are human.
First leg, it's standing to throw first.
David
Game on.
Croft, of course, an ex-darts commentator.
Yeah, big fan. Haven't seen David in quite a long time. He's got a rather swanky job these days, isn't he, going around the F1 circuit?
42.
Yeah, I do speak to him from time to time, and he does enjoy rugbying when I nose in it, as he's in Monaco and I'm in
134.
Always used to like running into Crofty at the World Championship. Doesn't seem to happen these days, which is a bit of a shame. He might pop his head round the corner sometime around Christmas when he's put in another 100,000 miles.
180.
180 was at 100,000 mile an hour.
Well, this is
59.
Formula One versus IndyCar, isn't it? Which one
That's
goes
brilliant.
faster?
64.
That's one of the most famous things about Indianapolis, the Indy 500.
140. Luke
Sure is.
required
Over 100,000 people go to
123.
that.
Steeped in motorsport history.
98. Danny
That's got to
required
be 3 tops,
120.
Danny. Come on, you've got to follow the Reese Robinson rule. Oh, don't listen to me.
100. Luke required 25.
This really is quick. You don't need me to tell you what he needs.
Game
because he
shot
just
on the
hit it.
first leg. Luke Littler.
15 dart breaker throw to get proceedings underway with a max as well.
Second leg, it's Luke to throw first. Game on.
I think he's got more gears than a Formula One car.
How many gears do those cars have?
8.
100.
Not like Speedway then, where they've got 1.
100.
And no brakes.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, them riders are bonkers.
96.
Bit like Forrest Gump. Run, Forrest, and he doesn't stop. Just runs through the cheerleaders and the band and goes out the stadium.
134.
You might think he's exhibiting there, but there is a lot of promise in that shot.
135.
Yeah. There you go. That's why he did it. Might have even caught Charlie off guard there. I'm not surprised. That is next level thinking, that.
57. Luke, you require 170.
You just know he would have stayed there had the second ball gone in.
Hang on a minute.
So that would have been
140.
absolutely remarkable. He's left double 15 after just 4 visits to the board. Danny Lauby doing little
Luke, you
wrong
require
here.
30. No score.
Ooh, he's
Danny
missed 3 at
require
double 15.
110.
Chance for Lauby. Double 18.
92.
A second
Luke
chance
required
at 30.
30.
So second down and 30 for Littler.
Yeah, he'll have to attack more, and he
Game
did.
shot on the second leg. Lou Littler.
Certainly made short of that.
I'd like to say that he's playing like
Third
he's
leg
in a
is
rush
Danny
for
to throw
something.
first.
Or
Game on.
playing past his bedtime, but his bedtime was about 3 hours ago.
He's got a cab running outside.
140.
Don't worry, he can afford the cabbie's overtime the way he plays.
57.
He's definitely looked more comfortable tonight for me. I wonder if he's more comfortable playing at night.
Maybe. He just looks more
100.
switched on to me. I think he was a little bit too relaxed in Group A.
88.
And tonight, it's very much all business. Seen some flamboyance.
57.
Wow.
140.
Just when you think he's found the top corner of the treble bed, he goes more top corner.
57.
That's like getting a ball caught in the stanchion doing a free kick, and then you can actually displace it with another ball.
180. Danny requires
irresistible.
147.
There is nothing
59.
that
Luke
Danny Lauby can do about this.
This could be 3-0.
The old switcheroo.
Game shot on the third leg.
4 minutes
Lou
and
Littler.
48 seconds.
Are we?
Fourth leg, it's Luke to throw
Close
first.
to a record.
Game on.
He's going to have to be really quick here. And I mean supersonic.
96.
He's not going to break it. 42 seconds from here to break the quickest game record. And every time
60.
somebody threatens that, it is 4-0. In the 100 meters,
58.
breaking 10 seconds is a sign of world class. In darting terms here at the MODUS Super Series,
140.
a sign of quickness is sub 6 minutes. We
180.
might get rid of this one with a really big finish. The biggest of the week so far.
180. Luke require 167.
Well, well, well. This really has been
139.
a
Danny
rocket
require
ship of a game.
121.
It's needed, and it's not found. So Littler for 4-0 and 4 wins from 4 for
76.
Thursday night
Luke
and Friday
required
morning.
28.
It
Game,
didn't take long
shots,
at
and the
all.
match,
6 minutes
Lou Littler.
and 16 seconds to go through the card, and he was just too hot to handle tonight. Everybody will have a chance of getting through on Friday morning and through Friday night. But the fact of the matter is that from Littler was his second consecutive average of over 100 for the night. 36% on the doubles, and that's the reason why it wasn't even higher or even quicker. But as far as tonight's concerned, it all belongs to Luke. And to close the night, you've got Mace and Henry on the balcony.
Paul, thank you very much. 6 minutes and 16 seconds. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and a 10-second break in between legs. It was a staggering display, and he was at one point on course to break that record. He hit those doubles that he missed, 7, he could well have set a new record for 4 legs.
Back-to-back ton-plus averages there for Luke Littler. Let's see what we have seen this evening then. These are the 10 results from our matches in Group B. Right, so it's a night really dominated, wasn't it, by the 3 players at the top?
Yeah, it was a sedate start from Luke, and then all of a sudden he just sort of hit the afterburner, a 98 average against Neil Duff, and then posted back-to-back ton-pluses. It's sort of what we expect from him, and something we spoke at the top of the show that I didn't think he looked quite switched on across Group A for whatever reason, but tonight he was all business, wasn't he? And he just produced some magical darts.
Most certainly. So those are the results. Right, let's talk about Colin Osborne, because second half of the evening he really came into the fore. It really was a night of 2 halves for him.
Yeah, but he dodged a few bullets there, didn't he? He got away with it against Steve West, who missed countless doubles against him. And like he said, and it's something that we've spoke of in depth many times, myself and Nico as well, in comms, that you can put the practice in, you can put the hours in, and if you're just not clicking on the night, you can't force it. You've just got to try and play through it, and tomorrow he might produce the kind of darts we've seen him play in the Super Series and the kind of darts that got him here this week.
As far as Luke Littler is concerned, as I say, 2 ton-plus averages to round his night off. And, first of all, this for Steve West was absolutely incredible. And then Luke composed the 81 out.
He caught us all out. You know, we didn't know which way he was going to go. We were sort of looking at 48 for 24, and you heard the dart. We just about got it in shot, double 11 for the ball. And even Luke Littler enjoyed that one. We'll probably see him have a go at that tomorrow night.
And then he takes out this 81 to see off the match and see off a 4-2 victory against Luke Rest. The defending champion is downstairs now having a chat with Paul Nicholson.
Luke, you must be really pleased with the way you played tonight. What are your thoughts after picking up 4 wins from 4?
Well, it's a good start to the Group B. And obviously, I said to Henry last time, I played better in the night. Maybe my average don't prove it, but I feel better in the night than in the day.
You did look more comfortable playing in an evening session compared to the first 3 days of the week. What do you put that down to?
Probably myself. Don't like getting up early morning. And obviously through the day I can have a sleep. Obviously go out for some food and get ready for the night time.
You did show a little bit of a smile during that game with Steve West. You looked like you really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, well, obviously I was thinking in my head when he hit the ball, 2 double 18s, and then when he pinned the 1-2-2 and missed, I went, that would have just been better than me 111, but obviously he didn't get it, and then I took out 81 for an 11 darter.
Your last game of the night was just a shade over 6 minutes. I don't know whether you're aware that the quickest game at the Super Series is 5 minutes 48, so you've got a little bit of a way to go to get the quickest one yet.
Yeah, obviously Henry said a few weeks ago when I was down the MODUS, it's the quickest. Obviously, me and Danny can go again tomorrow and try and get it.
You're going to play Danny first game tomorrow at about 10 o'clock. Are you earmarking a fast game on that one, or is it more about getting the 10 points and guaranteeing yourself into Saturday?
Obviously, I'll guarantee myself for Saturday. Obviously, if it is the quickest, then it is the quickest. But if I get the job done in my first game, then I'm through.
Congratulations, Luke. Well played tonight.
He was not happy about not having that 5-minute 48 record, but he said later on in that interview, look, yes, the records are great, but got to get myself through to Saturday first, otherwise that's all irrelevant.
Yeah, priority number one, and it's the same as Steve West and Colin Osborne. It's not about how you play tonight, it's about getting to finals night and how you play there and how you get your hands on that beauty, and £20,000, that's the key to victory. And all he's basically doing is just putting a bit of a frightener on everybody else in the field, because they all know that the one player in this group that is capable of those really big, high-ceiling numbers is Luke Littler. The highest average, apart from Luke Littler, is a 105, which is way off the 107 he's had, the 113. He looks the man to beat.
He most certainly does. Right, Danny Lauby, the American ace, the scene. What would be your assessment of what you've seen from him?
Pretty much what we expect. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. He's like most speed merchants. You know, they're very much FDMs, first dart merchants. If the first dart's in, they tend to follow. If they're not in, they tend to sort of scramble around a bit. But yeah, I think he'd be a little bit disappointed. I mean, he played lovely in that last game, averaged 96.47, was reduced to just 2 darts at a double, but walked into the monster that is Luke Littler. And sometimes you just got to hold your hands up, very much like Neil Duff tonight. You know, he improved in increments, but the jumps weren't big. You know, they were just small increments of improvement, and he just got nothing out of tonight. Well, 2 legs, that's all he's got, and well, it'd have to be something miraculous happen tomorrow night to qualify.
Well, this is the league table for the first night's action in Group B. Luke Littler, top of the table, having won all 4. Neil Duff having lost all 4. And, well, we didn't expect, really, that tonight from Neil Duff, did we?
No, not now that he'd eventually sort of got over the hill of winning a week, and that sort of takes one bit of pressure off. But he was up against it coming into a group of this quality. You know, he'd had to have played his best game, and for him tonight, it just wasn't there. I wasn't sure. He flew in this afternoon, did have a bit of a delay on the flight, which probably meant that he felt like he was rushing things and didn't have the best preparation. But listen, we've seen players before go without a win on a Thursday night and somehow manage to qualify for the Saturday night. So all is not lost, but it's going to be super tough because the players above him look in fine form.
And it looks as if the players in the middle are cancelling each other out as well.
Exactly that. That's going to be the problem for him. And to go through a card, listen, look how Luke Littler had to play. You know, he's averaged probably, I don't know, somewhere around the mid-90s for the night. And he's gone 4 out of 4. So whoever does it tomorrow night's going to have to find a 100-plus average at some point.
Well, by this time tomorrow, we're going to be stood up here knowing the 6 names that are going to be playing for that pot on Saturday.
Yes, we're one day away. Group C concludes tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Looking forward to that because that's all to play for. We've got that group separation, 3 on 8, 3 on 2. So out of that 3, we've got to get 2.
Shall we make it a date?
Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
I shall see you tomorrow. Paul Lucas will be a part of the team as well for 1 o'clock on the Super Series YouTube channel for joining viewers on Sporty Stuff TV from 3 o'clock. Where in Group B tonight, Luke has dropped some nukes. He's top of the pile.